Yo, what is up, everyone? My name is Mir or Walt, whichever one, doesn't matter, but I'm going to show you how to do this. It's called motion tracking. It's like for all you beginning editors, it's basically with this 3D text on the screen, and you can have honestly whatever else you want. So basically, I'm just going to go over how to do that, and let's get started. I have this clip right here, this motion track. Oh wow, where'd it go? I have my clip, and I want to just have some like text. It's like for an episode, this guy, and I'm editing for, and it's just basically this nice little backwards walk. Actually, ended up walking forward, and I just time remapped it to make it go backwards. And so basically, what I did is you have to render this composition, add to render queue, and I have a render preset as motion tracking. And basically what this is it's a 30 frame rate of 30 frames per second. Make sure it's 30 frames per second, and all your quality stuff is good. And then for this has to be AVI, because I'm doing from Boujou to Cinema 40, because that's just the way I do it. And you don't have to have audio output because you don't need it. And make sure it's AVI, and that's all good. And you can just render it wherever, but I've already rendered it, so I can delete that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this real quick, and I'm going to close that. I'm going to open up the file where I have it, and King Marsh and cinematics, motion tracking, and I have all my stuff. So I have the motion tracked clip right here, and it's just this simple little thing going on. It goes through the whole thing, and now it's AVI, and as you can see down at the bottom, it is 30 frames per second right down here. And what you do is you can import it into Boujou, and this is what you get. If I can open up any faster. Oh wait, I'm opening up Boujou 4, which I don't have. So hold on, just give it a moment while I failed to do that. It could be like, no, key does not abort. Okay, so I'm just gonna open up this. I'm just going to do the whole thing and show you how to do it, because I already have the Cinema 40 file. And basically what you do is you get this clip, your AVI file. I name it AVI so I know where it is. And you make sure hit frame rate 30. This is all good. It's from where, and hit apply. And this is normally going to change back to 25, so change it back to 30. And then you're pretty much set with that. And hit apply again. And if it doesn't change again, then you're good. And scan through this. Since it's an AV5 file, sometimes your computer might crash, and if your computer crashes, then you're going to have to do a image sequence and put the image sequence into a folder, and select, when you import sequence, select the first clip in the folder, and then you should be good. If you want more instructions on how to do that, then just ask and I'll do that. So anyway, so you have this, and what you want to do is track features advanced, sensitivity all the way up, and this should, not sure how long this takes, but I'll be right back. Alright everyone, I am back, and basically it just went through that whole sequence, and now it has all the little tracking points, and you should be set. And even though there's this little drop right here, it should recognize the whole sequence, and it should be all good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit camera solve, optimize camera path smooth. This might make it a little bit longer, but the better. End result has to be better. So hit start for that, and this shouldn't be too long, but I'm going to pause it anyways, and yeah, I'll be back. Alright, so basically now we have these little track points, and even though there's not track points back here, it's still something to work with, and it's still perfectly fine. So basically what's going to go on is I'm going to hit scene geometry. This is the part you have to pay attention to. And you're going to add coordinate from hint, origin, add coordinate from hint, x-axis, add coordinate from hint, y-axis, add coordinate from hint, z-axis. And now with your origin, you can drag this to the side, and I picked this one right here. You connect to the selected, update. X is from left to right, so basically on the map, whatever's left to right. So since this is kind of like left to right, this little hill, and you hold Control, and then select one, and then select the other one, and connect to selected, update, hit Y, and since this building is where the y-axis is, I'm using that building right there, connect to selected, update. And Z, that's from like me to like wherever your screen is, so that's like the Z, that's like the space in front of you. So I'm gonna hit right here and then the wall behind it. So that's kind of like the Z space. And now you have all this, and update it a couple times to make sure that it doesn't mess up on you, because sometimes it gets deleted. And just add a test object. It doesn't matter where it is, you just let it go. And that's pretty much motion tracked. You have that motion tracked and it's perfectly fine. And that looks good. So now I can just close that. And what I want to do is export camera solve, and what you need to do is, if you're doing it to Adobe After Effects, then you hit right here and you hit the scale by 1000 and then export flag tracks only, and that makes it so you only get a camera. And now I'm doing it to Cinema 40, so I'm doing it to 100 scale, and I'm going to be browsing tutorials, make a new one, motion tracking, and I'm just going to export it into here and track and enter, and that basically saves my Cinema 40 file into there. I'm lose unsaved chain. I honestly don't care about that. So now I have my track back all the way back in here, back right here, and open this up. And Cinema 40 might take a little bit of open up, not too long. And there we go. So basically now we have this little thing, and I'm not sure if this motion track was too good because I did it really fast, but we'll deal with what we got. And make a new mat, or like double click right here, and so you make a new solid thing, and load image, and go to where you have your AVI file, and that's my AVI. Open, yes, let that load up, and once it's loaded, I can do this. Come on, come on. Alright, it's no loaded now, so click right here on the AVI, hit animation, hit calculate, and that makes it an animation. So now you can just close out of this, hold down right here, make a background, click and drag that to right there. So now this is pretty much motion tracked, and you can add some text. This is a really bad motion track, I'm not gonna lie, because I did the scene geometry really bad. But if you just spend a little bit more time on doing it, and you'll do it a couple times, and you'll get used to it, and then you can do it much better. And that's how I did it. I saw all these horrible tutorials, and they all made me mad. I'm just gonna use Bibis, and that looks good. And I'm just gonna scale this up, make a new mat, and I'm just gonna set a color gray, and that looks pretty good. And basically now that is motion tracked, and I'm just gonna drag this out here, and now it looks like it's floating in the space of the right here. And now there's a couple things that I want to point out, is that if you want to draw layers around it, you're gonna have to export as a PNG sequence with the alpha channel selected, so you can import it into Adobe After Effects, overlaid onto the original clip, and then you can mask out like the trees and stuff right around here. But that'd take a lot of time. But I'll show you my final product, what I have, and it's for the actual episode that I'm editing, and it looks pretty good. I just, for the part where the text is in front of me, I just drag it into the Z space. So and you have mirror presents, and I drag it in front of the tree a little bit so I don't have to worry about masking that. Mirror presents and King Harsh episode 2. And that's that. And thank you all for this tutorial. If you liked it, then please give it a like, share it, do whatever, all that jazz. And if you make any edits or any motion tracking and all that jazz, then you should definitely just leave a video response with how you did it, or like the motion track you did with this tutorial. And I'll see y'all later. Peace.